Hello, hello. It's Memento. And in a strange twist of fate, I'm doing my very first video essay. I believe games deserve second chances. Rarely is there a situation where I think you hit the point of no return, which is why during a YouTube stream, I wanted to look at two games that had had controversy and determine, in my own opinion, whether they deserved a second chance or not. Moonfrost was the second of those games, and one I had been looking forward to for quite a while. But before we can answer the question of redemption and second chances, first we have to look back at the controversies surrounding the game. Let's go back to May 20th, 2025. A little game called Moonfrost released a fun tweet. Most likely, this was part of a trend back then, introducing your game as Game of the Year. It included this really cute trailer and some of the things players could expect to see within Moonfrost. This, of course, included things like farming, fishing, and discovering the secrets of Frost. This showed that co-creators Gina Nelson and Rick Moore might just be onto something. What this did not show was any mention of the NFTs lurking beneath the surface. However, it would quickly be revealed through their quest system and early access bundles and gnome keys that there was way more to this game than meets the eye. Now, you might be wondering what the heck I mean when I say NFTs or what Web3 and blockchains are. For a long time, I wondered the same thing as well. Fortunately, a few years ago, I did a lot of research into the subject and I've refreshed my memory for this video specifically. So I will be breaking down the three key terms we'll be hearing about within this video. NFTs, or non-fungible tokens, are unique digital items that only the person who has purchased them owns. Sometimes this is also done in limited run events where only X number of something exists, and each person who purchases them will be issued a digital certificate stating ownership. So if you buy the NFT, you, in theory, are the only owner of that specific good with that specific certificate. And the definition of non-fungible token, as seen in the Merriam-Webster's dictionary, is a unique digital identifier that cannot be copied, substituted, or subdivided, that is recorded in a blockchain, and that is used to certify authenticity and ownership. And if you're asking anything about what a blockchain is, don't worry, I got you covered on that too. To put it simply, blockchains are a way to protect your digital goods that don't involve big name companies or corporations and instead are entirely based around the users themselves. This system itself makes sense in theory, but there's a reason it isn't talked about as much anymore. And again, the dictionary definition of a blockchain is a digital database containing information, such as records of financial transactions, that can be simultaneously used and shared within a large, decentralized, publicly accessible network. It is also the technology used to create such a database. The last of our key ingredients is Web 3 and consequently Web 2. To start, Web 2 is essentially describing the internet that we know and begrudgingly love. Web 3 is meant to be an evolved form of the internet, centering on crypto and blockchains. So while Web 2 are the websites like YouTube, Twitter, even your Gmail account that sits on the Web 2 internet, Web 3 is, as Wikipedia states, an idea for a new iteration of the World Wide Web, which incorporates concepts such as the decentralization, blockchain technologies, token economics, and privacy-enhancing technologies. Of course, all of this has been a bit overly simplified, but the main point is that Moonfrost was going to release a free game using NFTs to make money and attracting all of the crypto and Web3 fans into a cozy gaming experience. To the credit of the game, it was something that we hadn't seen done before, especially not so publicly. So while I don't approve and wouldn't participate in a game like this, I do have to admit that they were filling a niche that as of yet had not really been touched. Okay, now that we've done some basic definitions, it's time to get back to the game and its controversies. Over the next few months, the hype would continue for the alpha. People really wanted to get these early access bundles and gnome keys, and were also looking forward to how they would accumulate, I'm going to call it $Frost and Liquid Luck, the cryptocurrencies utilized within the game. Side note, apparently in the original iteration of the game, this would be collected by mining frost crystals that fall from the sky. This gave me a bit of a chuckle, seeing as mining is the term used when people are trying to get Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Again, I do have to give points for creativity in all of this. There was actually quite a bit of thought put into the development of this NFT cryptocurrency game. Not only could you obtain this currency via mining, but as you can see in the video that I've included, you can also obtain it via fishing and just about any other activity from the game. As these bundles sold out, various partnerships were also formed. As I've been researching, here are a few of the collaborations that I saw. We had Clockwork Gamers, Artemis Crypto Gaming, and Gaming Grid, just to name a few. It seems as though these were mostly, if not all, cryptocurrency based and would be giving out game keys or working on other NFTs, seen mostly on OpenLoot. One of the main forms the NFTs took within the game were these gnomes. Earlier, I mentioned gnome keys, and these were one of the things used to gain alpha access. As time went on, though, other gnome-centered promotions were also launched. This included a Hear No Evil, See No Evil, and Speak No Evil set. From my research, I primarily saw gnomes and upgraded tools being the main draws for the NFT goods, and these were mainly obtained via loot boxes, which is kind of taking some gacha mechanics. One interesting thing to note from the alpha is that originally the game was intended to have multiplayer support. While your farm would be your own, the town itself was set to be a hub for players to meet and even chat with each other. And immediately when I played the demo, I could tell it gave a sort of MMO-light feeling. When I went into the rundown town, it felt like I should be meeting other players there, especially when Ash said that more people would surely move in soon. It didn't feel like she was referring to fixing up the town for NPCs, but rather real people playing the game and joining the Frost Hunters Association. This, my friend, is a Frost Spire, a massive shard of Moonfrost. Isn't it just amazing? Imagine that falling on your head. Pretty cool, right? It's a little terrifying to think of it falling on my head. Yeah, so here's the deal. The village was totally obliterated by Frostfall years ago. But the Frost Spire, brand new, weeks old, lucky us. Now I'm no expert, but everyone knows that Frost Spires mark the end of Frostfall. So for the foreseeable future, this village is safe to rebuild and inhabit. And with the Frost Spire being so recent, this place is a gold mine. The perfect place for Frost Hunters to gather fallen Moonfrost without risking their lives. Pretty convenient, right? So don't be surprised if more Frost Hunters start moving to the village. And if you want a chance of competing with them, there's one thing Frost Hunters need more than anything. Persistence? Money, dough, still, and guess what? I know a guy who can teach you how to make some. You walk by a store on the way here. Lemons. Let's meet up there and I'll introduce you to my buddy Walter. This is just one instance of the disconnect between the NFT alpha and the premium beta. I will get more into the premium part later. All things considered though, the alpha appeared to be thriving. It was showing cozy gaming to a whole different group of people and actually seeing some success from this. Over the course of the alpha, multiple events were also successfully run and there was quite a bit of hype. But of course, this couldn't last forever. Cozy gamers had taken notice of Moonfrost and they weren't happy. Reddit posts warning of the NFTs and crypto being used in the game, Facebook posts, and a controversial tweet from the game itself were leaving a bad taste in everyone's mouth. Cozy gamers weren't having this. Instead of bridging the gap between these two unrelated groups, Moonfrost was slowly widening it. Cozy gamers weren't interested in NFTs, crypto, or messing with blockchains. In fact, it seemed that at first glance, they didn't even know that these systems were being involved. Instead, they wanted a game that they could sink their teeth into and fall in love with as they spent countless hours exploring the world. They certainly didn't want a game that was Stardew, but with a bigger team and modern technology, as the controversial tweet put it. And while this is just my opinion, I think that tweet alone showed that Moonfrost was missing the entire point of cozy gaming. What's more, gamers were starting to notice that the mentions of crypto were buried on the original website. It almost felt like Moonfrost was hiding that side of itself. Whether this was because, as they said, it was a game first and crypto game second, or because they knew the general population wasn't as keen on NFTs, we can't know for sure. What we do know is cozy gamers weren't afraid to speak up. The Reddit post that I showed earlier reads as follows. Warning, Moonfrost will be implementing blockchain, crypto, and NFTs. For those who aren't familiar with Moonfrost, it's a farming sim currently in development. They advertise themselves as, like I said, Stardew, but with a bigger team and better tech, which is already interesting, LOL. The pixel art is quite pretty, stylistically better than Sunhaven, in my opinion. They post to Twitter constantly and have a pretty large fan base. The other day, they posted a dev blog about the game and how they'll be implementing what they call the Web3, blockchain, cryptocurrency, and NFTs. Ironic for a game about farming and the environment, huh? Very good point, in my opinion. Not only that, but they've tried somewhat hard to hide this information. They give weird, emotionless responses to everyone who happened to notice what they were doing, almost bot-like. Figured this was worth mentioning to anyone interested in the game. They seem like a pretty shady and uncool dev team. Fast forward to 2026, and an article is released by Games Industry covering Moonfrost. More importantly, the fact that Rick Moore was stepping down, leaving Gina Nelson as the sole CEO of the project. The article states that Nelson expressed a desire to run the game on her own, and thus Moore stepped down. Though it's also worth noting that Rick Moore is still a major stakeholder and does most likely still have input into the game, but Gina Nelson is now the sole CEO of the project. Nelson goes on to state that they were listening to what the gamers wanted, and that clearly wasn't NFTs. While correct, it does bring up the questions of whether crypto, NFT, and Web3 format were primarily taken care of by Moore, and was Nelson perhaps more in charge of the creative side of things, as listed in her Twitter. There's no way to know for sure how the roles were divided, but now the title would no longer be free and instead was referred to as a premium title available on Steam and Epic Games. And I've also gone to show some of the statements from both the article and Rick Moore, and I will read through the statement on the Moonfrost Twitter account. A message from the Moonfrost team. Hey Frost Hunters! We've made an important decision about the future of Moonfrost. We are leaving Open Loot. After much reflection, we've decided to move Moonfrost off the Open Loot platform. Things have changed a lot over the course of the year, and it is no longer sustainable for Moonfrost to continue there. What this means for Moonfrost. We experimented, we learned, and we listened. Over time, it's become clear that Moonfrost can't cater to both a Web 2 and Web 3 audience simultaneously. We've realized that the game is too big, complex, and slow to develop for it to be successful as a Web 3 game, and that's okay. So, we are excited to say that Moonfrost will launch on Steam as a premium PC title with no crypto, no NFTs, and no tokens. We believe this is the best path forward for Moonfrost, giving it a home where thousands of players can discover it, play it, and fall in love with it. For our Web 3 players, for everyone who supported us on Open Loot, thank you. We wouldn't have made it this far without you, which is why we have something exciting on the horizon just for you. This separation will allow us to adapt to the changing landscape faster, creating games and utilities that keep your existing items and tokens meaningful, while giving us room to expand Moonfrost on Steam without compromise. We will be able to share more information soon, including how your items and spending will translate, along with eligibility and timelines. In the meantime, we ask for your patience. Thank you for standing with us through every season and every change. To all our Moonfrost players and supporters, we'll see you on Steam. So, after reading through that, what is a premium title? A premium title just means that instead of making a free-to-play game and finding ways within the game to make money, this game will instead be a set price. And while this is just my opinion, I think that's so much better in the long run. While a free-to-play game can be accessible for those who can't afford the rising prices of games, these games can also be greedy in their monetization practices. But that's a talk for another video. For now, just know that we'll be paying for the game, but that means we're free of microtransactions and loot boxes. We can even see this on the updated Moonfrost website, where it states that Moonfrost will not include NFTs or blockchain, and Moonfrost also will not be including any AI. Generative AI. But was this the end of the road for the Web3 and crypto aspirations of Moonfrost? Well, as the post said, no. On one side, there was community backlash at Moonfrost leaving Web3 because many people had already bought into those elements of the game through loot boxes and gnome keys available during the alpha playtest. This was especially jarring since an event had just finished only 2 days prior to all this unfolding. It does seem that Moonfrost has offered game keys to help offset this for those who are interested in still playing the title, but it certainly did damage to the company in the Web3 space, even while fixing some of the broken bridges with the cozy gamers. Alongside this, Rick Moore started development of Frost Arcade. This smaller scale project would focus on browser games and keep the Web3 and NFT economy. Any loot boxes purchased would also be honored in the Frost Arcade. But the bad standing within the Web3 community did not withstand, and though I've been searching, I've been unable to find Frost Arcade. Whether this is because it never got off the ground or hasn't been started is unclear as of now. Looking through Moore's Twitter, it seems as though he has a hand in several projects, but is largely inactive in his actual posting. In theory, that should be the end of it. It seems we have reached at least a semi-happy ending. With Nelson taking over the project and moving away from NFTs, it feels like Moonfrost really has a shot. It's also been stated that the game will not use AI. Though they mentioned exploring it in the past, it does seem that this was only within promotional materials and not within development of the game, at least to my knowledge. All of this feels like a step in the right direction. Nelson listened to the feedback from the cozy gaming community and pivoted the project as a result. She talks about reworking systems and creating the game Moonfrost was always meant to be. So, when I heard the demo was coming out just days after the Loftia closed beta, I was ecstatic. There was going to be a hole in my heart from all the time spent in Loftia, and I wanted another game to dive into. It was legitimately the perfect timing. So I planned out my Saturday morning stream to dedicate to this game, talking about what I knew of its past and seeing how I felt actually playing it. I wanted a redemption story. I wanted to give Moonfrost a fair shot. But that's not what I got. And I will both be talking about it and showing some clips from that stream. Saturday morning comes and I boot up the game, talking with viewers about the game and going through the character customization. At first, I kind of skimmed through it because I had gotten this far the night before when I was checking that the game would run. But what I didn't do last night was look through all of the options. I just quickly made a character, lamented the lack of hair, and started the game. Well, today I was flipping through every option to really showcase what there was and talk about it. Except that's when I saw something genuinely egregious. We do have 3 sets of pronouns, including they, them, which is really awesome. We have male and female body types. That's all you kind of get, but I don't think it's that bad. You can choose from a bunch of different faces. The game is unfortunately really lacking in the customization department. I booted up yesterday just to see, and it's definitely lacking when it comes to customization. You can kind of, if I want green eyes, I have to pick this outfit. It does have different skin tones. Oh, the eyes look a little better if you go with a darker skin tone. That's bad. Oh my god, my voice is that's really bad. Wow. Wow, I didn't change skin tones last night when I was doing this. I was gonna boot it up and play like 15-20 minutes, so I just quickly made a that's not good at all. That needs to be taken out, like now. While the first 4 skin tones are normal and a decent range for a demo, especially given the extremely limited customization, when I saw the 5th option, I was genuinely shocked. The 5th option is legitimately just the color black, something that should have never been an option in the first place. In shock, I did click it just to see whether it was perhaps a mistake and wouldn't actually be like that. But no, it really does just look black. As the lighting changes, it takes a more dark gray shade, but that doesn't really make it any better. This is unacceptable in a game, and honestly, it's an immediate do not buy. That's simply my opinion, but it's one that I'll stand on. As for what the game should do after such a misstep, I can't actually speak on that, as it isn't my place to say what should be done to apologize for how bad this looks. Now, I did continue playing after this, noting that they had made a mistake. The only reason I kept going was because without feedback there won't be changes, and initially I intended to do an outright review video instead of this video essay. I would like to note right now, as I continue delving into my experience, that I do not support this game and will not be buying it, especially without significant change. I have not spent the past few hours researching it just for funsies, and instead I want to raise awareness of not only the game's past, but also the current state of it, because I feel it is not being talked about enough. The game is unpolished. It's very obvious that there is initially a system in the game allowing you to spend money to progress or get currency faster. The crops, crafting, and cooking all run on real-time features, something that I'm only used to seeing in MMOs. Like I said, I had just finished playing the Loftia closed beta, and due to it being an MMO, everything runs in real time. This appears to be leftover from when Moonfrost had multiplayer and even MMO elements within it. It's jarring to see this in a single-player game though, because even in games like My Time at Portia or Star Sand Island, the system runs based on in-game time and not real-time. So right off the bat, this game has a fundamental disconnect of systems. This system felt out of place, and without the ability to bulk craft, sometimes I was just left waiting for things to finish. Once you get past the beginning stages of the game, I believe this won't be as big of a deal, but during the tutorial phase, it feels like there's a lot of waiting for things. You're just waiting around. Also, again, now that the game is not an MMO, it makes little sense for there not to be a day-night cycle that actually matters. As of now, you can just be awake and go to sleep at any time you desire, and it doesn't matter. You just are up when you're up and asleep when you're asleep. Of course, while you're waiting, you can talk to the characters. There's Walter, who is fulfilling that kind old man trope. He helps you out, asks little in return, and seems to just want to see you succeed. Then there's Ash. When you first meet Ash, she offers you nothing but plot development, basically info dumping about what the world of Moonfrost is, what the Frost Hunters are, and, well, I'll let you see that part for yourself. Oh hey, you must be the new neighbor I was hearing about. Yep, guess that's me. I just woke up here. I thought as much. I'm Ash Davies. I'll be running the local beauty salon once I, manage to fix it up. My name is Memento. Memento, pleasure. Anyway, oh my god, what's happening? I don't really like the cartoony look that they're doing here, but that's personal preference. Anyway, so you bought an empty plot of land with nothing on it. Looks like we both like suffering. I bought the land. I bought land in my sleep. Oh, I just assumed. Did the FHA assign it to you? You seem a little, pale. That's the jaundice. Are you feeling okay? I need to fix the world. Ooh, I see. You're one of them, aren't you? A frost hunter? Yeah, that checks out. So you want to rebuild the world, starting from your own home. Yeah, good luck with that, mate. So how long have you been frost crafting? Are you a member of the FHA? Why is there no music? I don't think so. Well, I'm sorry to say I don't think you'll get far as a frost hunter without help from the Frost Hunters Association. They sort of have a monopoly on the whole thing, dealing with the fallout from the frost falls and so on. What are frost falls? Wow, this is exposition dump. Alright, now you're just messing with me. Mate, the friggin' shards of Moonfrost that have been wrecking the planet ever since that second moon appeared? Alright. Okay. Exposition dump, no music. It's probably because I turned off sound effects. Oh, okay. What's with that face? There are two moon. Whoa, no way. Okay, what is it? Did you take a bite of some weird mushrooms or something? Because I want some too. Oh my god. I need to fix it. And there's the responsible frost hunter speaking again. Listen, I admire the delusional confidence, mate, but you don't even have any tools on you. Being a frost hunter is all about building stuff, so I guess you could craft some. You'll need wood and stone. Just interact with any small rocks and logs you see lying on the ground to pick them up. So Ash starts out nice, but then randomly becomes hostile and rude to you, and it continues with this hot and cold behavior in the dialogue from here on out. I legitimately had whiplash and stopped wanting to talk to her since she was blatantly hostile for seemingly no reason. Alright, let's talk to Ash. OMG, that was amazing. What? Is that what you want me to say for picking up some branches like a dog? Please. Oh, that was mean. What did I do? Why is Ash suddenly so hostile towards me? You want to be a true frost hunter? Want to rebuild the world from its ruins? Then shut it and follow my orders, cadet. What? How about we use those resources you've gathered and craft some tools? Here, I'll give you your very first blueprints. What do you mean, what is a blueprint? Do you know anything about being a frost hunter? Why is she so hostile now? What did I do to you? I usually like to give grace when I play a demo, knowing that the best is yet to come, but Moonfrost has me torn. What I can see of the alpha playtests showed a game that looked like it would have community to it. What came to us in this demo is something that feels leagues behind what the alpha had. The systems feel unpolished and not thought out in their adaptation. The characters are inconsistent and the customization is downright abysmal. The things that look to be in place during the alpha are just absent now. From what I've seen, in the original alpha, there seemed to be a large area to work with and explore, semi-polished systems in place, and a multitude of things to do. The current demo has filler text on seemingly basic tools and long loading screens that are a bit jarring in nature because they happen so suddenly. It feels unpolished and like it was thrown together. The systems present in the alpha weren't fully reworked and instead just slightly adapted to a single-player paid experience. It feels incomplete, and while I would never play a game with NFTs or cryptocurrency, at least the alpha looked like it was fun. I don't mean to sound overly harsh towards this game, but to see what feels like a downgrade isn't a great feeling either. When Nelson took over the project, it sounded like she was ready to make positive changes and create a fun and cozy game. The art style alone made it stand out from similar games, and the story was just intriguing enough to make players want to look deeper. So to play the demo and see firsthand how unpolished it is disappointing. Moonfrost has been shrouded in controversy from the beginning. It's a game that tried to do something different and pivoted when it seemed their original ideas wouldn't work. But in that pivot, a lot of passion appears to be lost. Moonfrost got a second chance, but instead of redemption, there's only been more controversy. I don't know if I believe in third chances, but maybe there's still hope for Moonfrost. Keep listening to the community and taking feedback. And maybe, just maybe, we can see that third chance. And that's it. That's the video. That's my experience playing Moonfrost. If you got this far in my very first video essay, thank you. It's been a really cool experience to put in the time, do the research, and put all of this together. And I appreciate each and every one of you who watches this. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a like, leave a nice little comment, or maybe even subscribe, because I want to write more video essays for you to watch. And with that being said, have a fantastic rest of your night. Ready, steady, bye!